Today's guest is an Amazon #1 best-selling author.
I was trying to push a new way to approach growth for a long time. Then it gets to a point where I want to turn Magnet into Web3's growth engine and be that main face when anyone thinks of growth.
Now, he helps Web3 projects grow sustainably through Magnet, despite the uncertainty of success he experienced in the past.
But I went from the highest highs of business being super successful to now living back in my mum's spare room. And I've gone from being successful young university dropout to then being a failure. I'm like, was I ever actually meant to be that? Is it not for me? That was the main struggle.
In today's episode, we dive on how hitting rock bottom led him to rebuilding with purpose, exploring how blockchain projects can thrive in today's fast-changing landscape, and him shifting from chasing money to making an impact.
When I came into crypto, I see a problem emerging in the growth side. We can grow this space better together, make this technology effective, and have a real impact. There's such a huge change from let me just try and make money and be that successful dude to actually let me just try and make the biggest fucking impact.
Jake Lee. Jake, welcome to Can't Fake It, man. How are you?
How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Feeling great. How has the week been for you, bro?
Yeah, it's been good, man. I think every time you go to an event like this, your circle expands.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great being here and seeing so many familiar faces. And I always say it about our industry is it's so nice where you work with people from all over the world, and then just once or twice a year, everyone just gets in the same place.
Yeah.
And like you said, you could be doing work with someone
that
you've never met before, and these types of week create the opportunity to make sure that you don't stay strangers. So yeah, it's really good. It's hectic, it's busy, but yeah, right now coming to more the end of it,
Right.
and it feels like I landed yesterday, so I guess that's a good sign.
Yeah, for me as well, I love these mini reunions where I get to see my friends abroad.
Yeah,
I think this is the only industry well, not the only, but one of the few industries where you can do that. Do you get tired of these events?
Oh yeah, bro.
Yeah?
100. Yeah, I mean, I've been going to these events probably 3-4 years now.
Mhm.
So at first I was hyper energy Duracell bunny,
Right.
trying to bop around, tell everyone what I was doing, try and
Yeah.
make shit happen, right? And I think as you progress in the industry, things start to happen for you rather than you pushing them, because you build a brand and a reputation which brings the business to you. So you don't necessarily need to be trying to win business at these events. For me, this week's more about brand and trying to push our message and catching up with friends. I don't have any agenda to meet potential clients or do anything like that. We're good. We're good. We set the business up in a way, and I've worked hard to be in a place where we are good, so I can come here and think more expansively, push key messages, and of course connect with people that I respect, because it's such an interesting space, in terms of the types of people that operate within the space. It's not corporate at all, and for someone who's always been kind of against the norms, that suits me down to a T. So it's good to basically connect with other lunatics.
Yeah. Well, when did you feel that? So you mentioned that business started coming to you. When was that switch for you?
Well, in terms of the business.
Yeah.
So I would say doing what we do, I was trying to push a new way to approach growth for a long time, but actually being able to implement that and have those case studies of what your work has created and the value it's added to different businesses operating within the space. And then people going, oh, this project's had a lot of success recently, who was behind it? And then that's really what turned me from starting out in this industry as just a growth consultant into being shit, I need to structure something here and build a team, because I physically can't deal with all the projects that need my help anymore. So I'd say that the one trigger point is just getting out there and doing the work and proving that you know what you're doing, and then letting that organic side take a turn. So I'd say probably for the first year, it was probably the first 6 months was just doing any work that I could to try and be able to prove myself. Then it was proving myself. And then after that, it was kind of living off of that proof in terms of business that was coming through. Then it's okay, I want to build a big company. So then it gets to a point where now I have to build something that's much more scalable as an organization to get to where I want to be, because the ambition is very high. I want to turn Magnet into Web3's growth engine and be that main face when anyone thinks of growth. So in order to do that, we can't just rely on word of mouth, right? We have to build a real company with real operations. And also we don't have an agency structure. We're not an agency. So how do we scale? How can we support dozens and dozens of projects at one time? So yeah, you start to try and scale the business and scale also the other side, which is the marketing funnels in the business and the user acquisition or project acquisition funnels as well. And yeah, that's really the point where I started to push more towards bigger ambitions. And we're kind of midway in that journey now. So yeah.
You help people with growth or projects with growth. What do most projects get wrong?
So when I started in Web3, it's 4 years ago now, I was trying to grow businesses in Web2. So I had one main company when I was younger, which I set up when I was 17, and I ran that for a few years. And aside from that, any opportunity I saw within tech or within info, I would create and try and grow it myself. So I kind of realized that was my core skill set, and I started to learn that from a young age and just try to put it into action by scaling different stuff all by myself. Like I never worked for a company or a big job or anything. I kind of created my own approach to growth, and I'd have an idea and 2 months later I've made 50 grand out of it, you know, and I'm 18 years old and I'm like, I grew that. Why did it work? Why didn't it work? Maybe we'll get into it, but I've had some serious failures that have taught me a lot. And this is all pre-crypto, which really shaped my mindset and helped me shape my approach coming into crypto. But anyway, I landed in crypto and I love growing things. I know that. So I start monitoring projects and how they grow in crypto. And I'm amazed by the ways in which we can grow in crypto, especially having digital assets that can incentivize a new era of community and ownership and connection to customers. I'm like, this is amazing. Then I see how people start to use that, right? And projects are using that. And I'm like, hang on a minute. I don't think this actually, we're not using it to its fullest potential. So when you say about how I think people are getting it wrong, from that first day, what I realized is that for some reason, a lot of people in crypto assume, and I have this at every conference, I tell them what I do, and they're like, oh, you're a marketing guy. Growth is much more than just marketing, okay? So I was like, how do I get this across? Marketing is one part of the growth funnel. So I created a methodology called the Magnet method. It's a 5-stage framework. And the idea was that any project can pick this up and implement it into their project. And it's going to give them the full coverage of growth. It's going to build a growth engine into their project that is sustainable. And that's the key thing. Because a lot of projects in crypto, they think marketing is growth. Marketing on its own, usually in crypto, creates speculation and hype, right? It doesn't drive things like product usage. It doesn't drive things like the business growth, which is revenue and scalability and things like this. So my core message from this framework has been to encompass a full growth framework. It's the first one I think was ever published in Web3. I went on to write a book about it, which I launched on Amazon. It became a bestseller. And my message is to push that framework out so that people stop just focusing on one area of growth, which creates just speculation and hype, and they think more about the full stage of growth. And yeah, I mean, we can get into it and what it actually means if you want to, but that was the core thing. I saw too many people creating speculation and hype because they were purely marketing focused, where there's other stages of growth that are equally as important that we were forgetting. And that was kind of my entrance.
I do want to get into it. So can you take me through the 4 types of growth?
Yeah, sure. So it starts out with marketing-led growth. So basically every area of growth has 2 stages in the methodology framework. So marketing-led growth has awareness, which is how do I make people know about us? And then acquisition. So how do I turn that awareness into people maybe being acquired to our community or to our product or to our token as a token holder, whatever it might be. The next stage or area of growth is product-led growth. And this is all about activation and retention. They're the 2 parts of product-led growth. So activation is bringing someone on the product, but they don't just sign up, they start using it, right? They're activated. And then the second part is retention, which is, okay, they started to use it, and now they're staying on it, and they continually use it. After this, we move on to business-led growth. And I think this is one of the most underserved parts of crypto. Projects are businesses at the end of the day. They have to generate revenue. They have to eventually, at some point in time, be profitable, right? And we seem to forget that for some reason. So business-led growth is all about revenue, and there are amazing new forms of revenue that crypto companies can generate, as well as traditional revenue, which normally comes from product-led growth actually solving a problem and being paid for it because you're being valued for solving that problem. And then the second part of business-led growth is scalability. So we know that a lot of projects run cycle to cycle. They can't generate revenue, so they're probably only monetizing their token or whatever money that they raised, and therefore between cycles they end up in a situation where they're just about getting by. So it's really looking at the scalability and operations of the company to make sure that they can protect themselves against market conditions. Then we move on to the fourth area, which is asset-led growth. So this is all about token and ecosystem. So I think, again, might be a controversial point, but I look at, and when I come into this space, I was like, this idea of being able to, as I mentioned earlier, give such a huge incentive to users is the best growth asset I've ever seen that Web2 companies, tech companies, traditional companies do not have. This is the most amazing growth weapon that we're blessed with. But people in crypto decided to monetize the growth asset instead of utilize the growth asset for later monetization. So what I mean by that is, okay, I'm launching this new thing. Let me go and sell this asset straight away to raise millions of dollars, raise millions of dollars, or let me sell this token into the market to fund my business. Let me make money on fees on this token and so on. And again, all of these things can happen, but it's not the first thing that you do, right? You do everything I just mentioned first. You build a business that generates revenue. You build a product that people actually use and stay on. You have a great project, and then maybe that enables you to be able to monetize a little bit from the token, right, in a sustainable way. But for some reason in crypto, that becomes our monetization channel, this token. And therefore, it's not the greatest growth asset because you have to have a token that's appreciating value, that's providing value to your users, to your community. And if people are just trying to monetize it and sell it, and it's just going down, it's not a growth asset, it's the opposite of a growth asset, right? So I think the projects that have utilized it as a growth asset, they've really held that supply tight, and they've generated real buying pressure based on the success of the product and the business in terms of the revenue that it generates. And they then have more buying pressure coming into the token based on its actual utilities and the success of the business than there is selling pressure. So there's appreciation over time. It's a good asset and it's rewarding the fucking people that hold it, right? That's the point. So that area is super important. And I think it's just one that needs to be reassessed by many people. And then the final one is community-led growth. And that's the final area. We talk about user-generated community growth, which is where communities go off, talk about your project by themselves with no incentive, other than the incentive of maybe holding the asset. And then also the referral side, which is where you give them some form of, financial reward for them referring. But the beauty of the methodology is that if you get the community side right, so you have to bring someone from the first step, marketing-led growth, the awareness, all the way through all of those areas where, they're activated on your product, they stay on your product, they pay for your service, they generate revenue, they hold your token, then they come to the community side. If you get that part right, the community side, because they've been brought and nurtured through that journey in the right way, that creates a future awareness for your project. So the funnel or the framework, it restarts, right? Because your community-led growth is now driving the future of your marketing-led growth section. So there it is. And I would say in a nutshell, but I took a bit long to explain that.
No, dude, I really love that framework because it's very straightforward. I think it covers everything about growth. And I feel like it's not talked about enough in the space. Like there's a lot of extractive mentality that we see in the space, and people just focus on the token part, to try getting money. Now, with your journey to getting here, you mentioned that you started like hustling at 18, and did you have like an aversion towards like a corporate job like way earlier on?
Yeah, I set my first company up when I was 17, so I was still in school. I'd always been entrepreneurial. Like when I was 12, I was selling BlackBerry phones in school, and then I got excluded for that actually because someone was nicking BlackBerry phones in the school. And they thought this new kid in the school was like nicking the phones and then selling them. That wasn't the case. I had a different supplier. Right. And just put it out there, right? So because BlackBerries were all the rage. So I did a few other things when I was younger. I had one business where it was called Helping Hand. And this was when I was around 13 or 14. And I'd put leaflets through rich neighbors' houses and say, look, tell the story. You know, I'm a young local kid, and I'll do any odd jobs for you, and you decide how much you pay me. Really playing on the heartstrings, you know. And that was like my first ever, let's say, marketing asset that I created, and it did very well, and I earned good money out of that. And then I focused on my exams after. I always had something going on. I was always doing something. I always found it fun. And then I did work experience when I was 15 in an investment bank for a couple of weeks. And I remember going onto the trading floor, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. This is like Wolf of Wall Street shit. And I looked around and I was like, man, the youngest motherfucker on this floor is 35. I'm 15, right? If I want to do this for a job, because I thought I wanted to be an investment banker, I'm 20 years away, right? Like, I'm 27 now, so I still wouldn't be on that floor, right? And I've lived a whole different life since that point, instead of slaving away the corporate grind. So I realized that, and then from there onwards, like I said, I really liked the financial industry, so I wanted to learn about it myself. And then I feel like it's a very valuable skill set to learn at that age as well. And I started to kind of reap the rewards of the knowledge I was learning. And my friends started asking me when I was like 17, what are you doing? So I was like, well, pay me and I'll tell you. And so then all of a sudden I fell almost into online education space, financial online education. And that was my first proper business. So yeah, it kind of again just fell into it. Every mindset just thinking, how can I generate income? And I think that was the first thing that went wrong, is that for me, growing up, in my society, I always saw success as money. That was it. So we would drive past a nice car and be like, oh, this guy's super successful because he's driving a Ferrari. This guy's super successful. Look at how big his house is. So I guess it was just in my head that like, I'm going to be valued based on, and people are going to talk about me, and I'm going to be someone if I've got money. And also that if I have these, nice things, that means I'm successful. If I've got the pretty woman on my arm, I'm successful. So all of these things I went and did, right? So as soon as I, in my first business, started to make money, I bought stupid cars, right? I was driving a multicolored BMW i8 when they were all the rage, right? At like 19, 20 years old. I was living in a penthouse apartment in London for a little bit, like huge balcony, again, living the life, thinking like, this is it, like I'm there. So yeah, I kind of chased that lifestyle, and I'm so grateful that I had a taste of it, because I realized that it's nice to have nice things, but that's not the goal. My values as a human should be far greater than items that I can own. So I realized and had a lot of kind of tough conversations with myself, trying to understand, okay, if that's not the end goal, then what is? And at the same time that this was happening, the initial company that I ran started to fail, the one that I put most of my time into in my adolescent years. And I had to pick all of that up as well. So I went from like the highest highs of business being super successful, having all of this nice shit, realizing that this isn't really what it is that I wanna be doing or pursuing, and then the business failing in COVID, and then being like, shit, I've gone from this type of lifestyle to now living back in my mum's spare room. I got to try and pick myself up from here somehow. And I'd been investing in crypto since 2016, 17, because of the whole financial stuff. I caught onto it quite early, and I hadn't really made like my mark on it yet. I hadn't made like a huge success in it yet. And I was always thought it was the future. So my business failing, it's jumping full time.
Take me through that, like transitioning from that lifestyle to going back to your mom's house.
In terms of what transition?
Like, I guess, I mean, there could be like, oh damn, I got so used to this, and now like, is there like a pride thing there, or? I'll be honest,
it was imposter syndrome. It wasn't really pride, it was imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Because, so just like, if anyone's listening and you're wondering like what imposter syndrome is, it's more where you feel like you're not who you think you are in a way. So like when I've gone from like being a like successful young university dropout, right, to then being a failure, I'm like, was I ever actually meant to be that? Was I ever really, was I meant to be there,
Yeah.
Or was I just being an imposter in that life? Am I just, is it not for me? Can I not become a successful entrepreneur? So yeah, I'd say that was the main struggle. And the second thing was, every great entrepreneur has a similar story. And I read all of the books in this time. about and read these stories, and I remember sitting there thinking, I hope these motherfuckers are telling the truth. I hope it really is your biggest learning lesson, and it shapes you, and you can only get stronger from it. So I adapted that mentality of like failing forward. Like I was going through a lot of shit at this time, a lot of shit, and I still look back now at my camera roll, and I'm like, just the fakest of smile, because I know how I felt in that moment, but I'm like smiling and doing this stuff, trying to have that mentality of like, keep your head up, like fail forward, fail forward, fail forward. So that's really what that time was like for me. And more, again, that like aggressive mentality to be like, I need to get back as soon as I possibly can. So I didn't really ever sit there with myself for like, I don't know, a week or two and have a break. It was always looking at the next thing. And for me, that next thing was moving into crypto.
Right.
And the most valuable part of this whole thing for me was, if I came straight into crypto, and that was my first business, with the values that I had and the way that I viewed life, I would have 1,000,000% been one of the cowbell dudes that's just shilling shit, fucking trying to make money, the sole purpose to try and make me rich, go and buy tables in clubs, drive fast cars, live this crazy lifestyle, right? That would have been my driving force, because I know what my beliefs were about the world and what I wanted out of it when I was a kid. So the fact that I managed to go through all that, that's why when I came into crypto and I'm like, I see a problem emerging in the growth side, let me try and fix it. And this could really help the space in general grow traction, because if we all grow better together, we can grow this space better together, and we can make this technology effective and have a real impact on human life.
Right.
There's such a huge fucking change, right? In the way that, like, my ambition with business, from let me just try and make money and be that successful dude, to actually let me just try and make the biggest fucking impact I can and solve a real problem.
So how do you exactly define success for you now? Like, what's the vision? Paint me a picture of what success looks like for you.
So there's two sides. The first one is one thing that I've carried through with me from when I was in my adolescent years in business was I started to kind of fall out of love with one side of my initial business and fall more in love with the other side, which was the education side. I think education is the most powerful thing that we can use to change our lives. And I would like to think I'm a form of living proof of that, right? There isn't a single skill set really that I use today that I learned in traditional education, right? Other than the basics, read, write, things like this. And obviously the development of my IQ over a prolonged period of time. But in terms of like direct knowledge, like, I don't know, from my maths class or science or whatever it might be, I don't really use those skills now. The skills that are valuable now, I've had to develop. And the way that the world's moving right now, we have to have an adaptive mentality to continuous learning. And the reason for that is because the skills that are valuable right now to this economy are consistently changing because of emerging technology. And traditional education is forever becoming more and more redundant.
Correct.
So I feel like a huge purpose of mine in life, and asking myself like why I'm here in these times, if it's not just to be a successful businessman, what is it? It's realizing how powerful education is. Can I do something, especially with this, not to say the scrutiny, but the pressure that it's under in the coming years? Can I do something with my life to help people really take advantage of education, stay on top of it, let it impact their lives? Can I build something that can do that? Can I support with education? So I actually have like a passion project of mine as well, which is an edtech startup, which I'm been working on for a couple of years, and that's called Uppercent. So yeah, that's something that's close to me, and I want to do something big in education, and I'm watching closely how it's all developing, and it's moving so quickly that what maybe I would have built when I started Uppercent could have cost $1 million, right? Whereas now with where AI is, it might cost me 10 times less. So I'm in it. Obviously, I do a lot on the growth side in Magnet, but I have this purpose of mine, and that's obviously a vehicle that I'm trying to deliver some of that through. And yeah, so education is a huge part, and trying to make the biggest impact that I possibly can in the world. And that's kind of one of my selected instruments. I think the other side is I need to utilize where I'm at now. Like, I'm passionate about technology and emerging technology, and obviously growing emerging technology. And like I said, I want to have a big impact on the industry that we're in. Like you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of extraction. There's a lot of scamming in this space. There's people using it for the wrong reasons. And I still believe massively in the technology. So I'd love to be a kind of a person who can help change the course of the future of this technology as well. So yeah, just trying to create impact, I think is a simple answer, but they're really like the two vehicles that I want to do it through, right? Technology and growth, like my skill sets, and obviously education.
I'm curious about the edtech startup. Like, what exactly do you envision to do with that?
So, very simply, when we started out, was the idea of essentially tokenizing ownership to courses. So, I felt that a lot of people, and again, I did a lot of research, spend money on courses, online courses that they never complete. And there's a value waste there, right? So if I'm saying I want to learn a new skill, I go and spend, say, $500 on a course. I don't really get the value out of it, or maybe I do. That's it. It's a one-time access that I paid for. What if I could go and sell that to someone else, right? What if I could do that? And especially from yourself, right? You love to learn. Imagine the amount of money you've probably spent on education online. Imagine if that was all in a wallet somewhere right now, and you could go and sell that because you completed it, or you're done with it, or you didn't get the value from it, and you can recuperate some funds to invest in the future of your learning experience. So that area of kind of the bigger vision was always tokenizing education. And our initial, say, use case was we wanted to create really high quality masterclass-like sessions and learning experiences with valued people. Because I always feel like I'm going to want to learn more from someone that really does this shit compared to someone that doesn't have the creds to talk about the subject.
Right.
So yeah, that was our first focus. That's where the upper cent comes from, because it's like the upper percentile that I want to learn from. And then obviously applying the technology of being able to own my access to that, and then own it as an asset, and hopefully at a later date be able to resell that. So yeah, that was like our first concept. We launched 2 learning experiences. The first one was on emotional intelligence in a world of artificial intelligence by a guy who is a leading emotional intelligence trainer. He's got over 500,000 students. So that was our first learning experience. And then the second learning experience was on Web3. It was decoding Web3. So we had the CEO of a blockchain on there. I did some stuff on there about growth. We had a big KOL on there and about creating and influencing in crypto and content. And then a guy who's built a very successful company in the space. So they were our first 2 learning experiences. And yeah, really just trying to prove if there's product market fit for the idea of secondary market education, as I think it is such a big market. We haven't managed to quite crack the code yet. We obviously generated revenue through those 2 courses, and we did some okay numbers, but we kind of, when we started Upper Cent, it's not like we went and took the traditional path of crypto, which is, let's go raise millions of dollars and try and make something happen. We brought in a very small amount of money, and I'm very proud of the team and what we managed to do with such a small amount of money in terms of shipping a product, shipping the not just the platform, but also the learning experiences, generating revenue, being post revenue, and starting to build the brand. And so we've done a fair few things. I'd love obviously for it to move quicker. If we have more funding, then 100% it would, and hopefully that will happen for us at some point, and we can continue pursuing that mission, because there's always more exciting things that are coming out in edtech, and more capabilities. And like I said, for us, it's thinking about how can we try and really validate this concept that we're going after, what new technologies are rising that we can use, and what resources can we try and bring into the project to give us what we need, to go and make these kind of big jumps in the progression of the project. So yeah, that's like a bit of an outline.
You have you're building a bunch of stuff, and with the vision that you've just shared, I think with every founder or every leader, they're the limiter of how expansive the company could be, or how the project could be, or the vision could be. Now, considering that, how do you ensure that you're always growing, on a day-to-day basis? How are you sharpening the sword?
I think that learning through doing is probably the most underrated way of learning. But I mean, you still need to sit there with yourself and understand what you've learned. So my method of sharpening the sword is every night before bed, I will journal what I've learned in the day. So it helps me sleep, because it helps me get any ideas that I have in my head out on paper. And then secondly, it also helps me understand what I've learned. And yeah, that's kind of my main thing. So I'm constantly doing things and pushing, and then I'm taking that time to reflect every single day. So I have stacks of notes of just things that over the years that I've learned, and I revisit them on a weekly basis. So yeah, learn by doing, and then essentially journal around that to confirm the knowledge. And then obviously I read a lot. I love reading books, and again, it's a way for me to try and slow my brain down to make sure I get the best night's sleep. So that kind of time I have in the evening for breath work, reflection, journaling and my learnings, reading is super important to me, because sometimes when you're trying to run a business, multiple businesses at one time, you can get lost in the day. And I think reflection is such a huge teacher. And then aside from that, I love to learn from people that I value. So I'm very intuitive, I'm very inquisitive. So if I'm talking to someone and they maybe have a skill set that I'm not very strong at, I will ask as many questions as I can, and then I will end up finding those answers end up in my notes at night. So I'm always trying to meet new people that are doing cool stuff and just asking them questions. I want to learn from the horse's mouth, because that to me is, learning from people that have done it or are doing it is the most important thing. I never really understood the idea of learning from teachers that have never been out in industry and actually accomplished something. And that's also one reason why, the idea of %, and the initial kind of use case, that technology was centered around learning from the best, because I know that helped advance me. So yeah, that's kind of my process of continuing to sharpen the sword. And I just feel like, to be honest, if you have absolute dedication to something, you're just naturally going to become better at it, as long as you have a clear plan in where you're going. So you wake up every day and you're super organized in terms of what you're trying to do, and you can take a longer term strategy and break it down into something that's extremely actionable.
Right.
That's something that has helped me a lot. So I can break down a year, what I want to achieve in a year, down into quarters, down into months, down into weeks, down into days, right? And you can't always stick to it. It's not healthy to be hyper obsessed with that fracturing plan, and things change and you have to pivot and you have to do these things. Business is fucking hard, right? It's hard, and you're gonna fail. And the sooner you accept that and what you can take from that, the better. But the point here is that you still need to have direction of where you're trying to get to. And if you are an entrepreneur that has more of a maverick mindset, then there's going to be certain things on that roadmap that you're not an expert in, you don't know how to do, and you've got to fucking learn how to do them. Simple as that. Right. So identifying within my path what skill sets I need to adapt based on an actual outcome. I don't sit there and go, I want to learn about this, really, right? If I have that thought, I will buy a book and read about it. Yeah. It's more like, I know that I need to do this for progression in a business. I need to go and do that. And then I will learn from doing, and then I will reflect, and the process completes.
Right. I think 80% of being an entrepreneur is just constant clarification. That's why I think journaling is so underrated, because it's really time to organize, right? I personally try to, as much as possible, not leave open loops. I want to close the loops by the end of the day, or at the end of the meeting, at the end of the week, right? Because when you close loops and you know how to continue the loop the next day or the next week, everything just flows much more smoothly, and it just impacts the business crazily. Now I want to talk about you, man. More about you. You're a fashionable guy, bro.
I appreciate it, man.
Like
fashion.
I like your style. What's your approach to fashion?
I'll give credit to my brother, to be honest.
Yeah.
My brother was always the cool kid. I was always the more autistic kind of kid.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so what I mean by that, he was always the cool dude in school, was always up with the latest trends. I was in my own world. I've always kind of been that. I'm still like that now. I can be, I don't know, just on a train or in a public setting and just disappear into my own mind. And I was very like that as a kid. I was always thinking and dreaming. And on the other side, again, my brother was just there. He was the cool kid. He was on the trends, and he's a lot more in tune with fashion than I am. So, and we're really close. So it's very hard for me not to natural progression, and we have similarities of each other. So I would say that he's always pinging me on Insta, sharing me new collabs and new things that are going on, or someone's outfit that's hard and shit like that. So yeah, I think he almost brought me into that kind of fashion shit, Yeah. And now we do still slightly have different styles, but yeah, again, I always say you're a reflection of the people you spend your time around, and that's something that I definitely get from him. And then I've kind of just enjoyed it as well, and like I like it as well. So yeah, I like to dress and yeah. I think I went for a period when I was younger, and I was trying to take the Mark Zuckerberg approach.
Yeah.
Like not, wearing like the
Not
same
thinking,
shit.
yeah.
No, it takes up too much brain energy and all that sort of shit. So, you know what, fuck it. Like, I like feeling comfortable in what I'm wearing. If you feel like you look good, you're probably going to feel good. It has a boost on your confidence and things like this. So, and I like fashion. Like, I kind of learned that from my brother. So I'm going to like, I don't know, try and experiment and kind of be comfortable. And I always like, since I was younger, to be outside the box in everything that I do and kind of go against like the norms. And I kind of feel like, I guess fashion allows you to do that in a way as well. Right. If I turn up to a conference and everyone's got a t-shirt with their brand on it, right, and I'm turning up in like this, people are gonna be like, I'm gonna stand out, right, and I don't mind that. Like, I don't fucking mind. And oftentimes it's a conversation starter as well when you meet people. They'll be like, oh, I like this or I like that, or they might look at you a bit strange, but at the end of the day, you just got to be who you want to be, and that's kind of where it comes from.
Yeah, no, I totally feel what you're saying earlier. Like even earlier on, like I tried to take the Mark Zuckerberg approach.
Yeah.
But then like if you do express yourself through how you style yourself, it feels good, and that just radiates in your aura.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I'm stylish by whatever means. Like, I just like this style, so I'm gonna wear it. Like, it's not for everyone. And some people will think like I look like a dickhead. Cool. Like, it's fine. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I like this type of style. So, yeah. Even like I'll wear certain things, and my brother don't like them. He'll be like, "Why the fuck are you wearing that?" And I'm like, "You know what? Fuck you, man."
Yeah. Feels good.
Like, it's what I want to wear. So yeah, just expression. I guess it's just expression. And similar thing. I know the importance of that in myself, so I'm going to do those things that help me, I don't know, express myself.
You mentioned your brother having like an influence with you on fashion. Like, how's your relationship like with him?
So my brother's slightly older than me, so we've like, it's been very helpful because we've almost like gone through the same stages of life at the same time, rather than having like a huge age gap. And like we, as well as being brothers, like I would say that, he's probably my best friend. Like, we spend the most time together. Like, and I'm not one of them guys that has like tons of friends, right? I have like a few that are like really close to me, and then lots of like other types of friends, that are like, I don't know, these are my golf friends, or these are my watch the football friends, or like, and so on. And then like a few that are like friends just all the time. And we have like, we're very similar in a way. I'd say he's like maybe the more simple version of me. I would say, like, we have similar interests, we like similar things. And then what's really cool is that we complement each other, because I'm like the ideas, like, we're going to do this, let's go and do it. And he's like the guy who's like, all right, calm, like, let's do it, and help me actually do it. Right. So we have like complementing in skill sets, and we don't really clash that much either. So yeah, it's good, man. Like, it's really good having someone that understands you and like where you're from and your background, and is on a similar like path as you are, and can work with you through that as well. So obviously he's in crypto as well.
Really?
Yeah.
What does he do? Like, what?
He's in crypto growth as well, but he's always taken a focus on the community side.
Okay.
It's really weird because when I come into crypto like full time, he also did, and we kind of went our separate ways. And then he's done work with all different types of clients and done his own thing, and now we're at a point where sometimes we collaborate, right? So he's like, knowledge of growing communities and stuff, and marketing for brands is in the space, could sometimes be a huge asset to projects that we might work on. So we collaborate, and we chop some shit up together. So yeah, it's really cool, man.
It's crazy that like you guys are in the same industry. You're accurate that you guys complement each other. Have you guys thought about like working together?
Yeah, I mean, we do work together, right? On certain shit.
Oh, okay.
So, and we have always like worked together in different ways across the years. So like, yeah, like there's been different ventures all the way spanning like 9 years back that we would like do together. And it's always been kind of like, oh, I've got this idea, I think it's fucking brilliant. Like, do you want to come and like help me with it and so on. So that's always been like the dynamic. And yeah, like I said, it's cool that we both kind of decided separately to go into crypto full time as well. That could have gone either path. And then obviously, because of the skill set he's ended up getting, we've ended up being able to collaborate on a lot of stuff and work on different projects together and things like that. So yeah, in a way, like we do some shit together, and that's nice as well.
Dude, that's beautiful. I mean, first of all, I think that's very rare to have like your brother as your best friend. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's common, right? A lot of people aren't even close to it with their siblings. Some people, like me, I don't even have siblings. So that's super, super cool, man. How about your parents? Are you close to them?
Yeah. I mean, I'd say you always have a different relationship with your mum than you do your dad.
Yeah.
Especially as you like grow up and become an adult and become like the man of like the man, right? Like you're the man now.
Correct.
You're not a kid anymore.
Correct.
And you got to look after the women that are in your life. Like, especially from my mum's perspective, she's sacrificed so much to bring me and my brother up, right? So I owe her the world. And yeah, obviously your dad is a bit of a different relationship. So yeah, like I still obviously have a relationship with both of my parents. And then yeah, like I said, me and my brother took my mum to Bali earlier this year, which was really nice. Help her to like see another side of life that she'd never been to Asia before. So it's really nice to try and make those things happen. So again, that's a driving force outside of like what my business objectives are, is to try and maybe make life better as well for the ones that I care about and so on. So yeah, that's kind of like the dynamic. But yeah, and then my dad, like he's become like more entrepreneurial, like as I don't know whether it's a coincidence, I don't want to take the credit for it, but like he was just working like a 9 to 5, a good 9 to 5 regardless, for the majority of like his adult years, and then I guess you could say like semi-retired or retired a bit early from that, and then started to kind of pursue his own ventures. And that was like around the time that I started to like push on and start in business. And he's also like moved to another country and done these sort of things as well. So yeah, it's cool to see. But yeah, even from like my mum's perspective, she obviously gave up a huge part of her life to bring me and my brother up. And then she's a great worker, and she's gone in and built like a good career for herself post having me and Dylan and bringing us up. And now she's training also, she's like back at school, you could say, training to become like a counsellor, because she wants to kind of use her time in work to help people. And I think that's really cool, and I support her every step of the way.
Respectable. Props to your mom, man. With having a family, is that something in your horizon? Is that something you're seeing, working towards?
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess this is a really hard question for all entrepreneurs, because it's all about energy, right? Building a really good, solid relationship with someone, whether it's a partner or whether it's a friendship, it takes time, it takes energy. It's never going to be plain sailing. And I guess it's where you are at your stage in life, right? So for me, if you asked me this question a year ago, I'd be like, nah, man, like I'm like 100 on business, and that's it. Like I don't want anything taking my energy away from that. Whereas now I'm still very much like focused on achieving what I want to achieve. And the main reason for it is because I kind of want to look after the family that gave me everything that I've got and brought me here before I go and start a new one. You know what I mean? Of course I want to start a family one day, but I'd love to be in a position, and life doesn't always work out how you plan, but I'd love to be in a position where, I can make sure that my current family are fully supported and taken care of before I go and start my own family. So I have to see. Obviously, that's the perfect scenario. But yeah, of course, I want to start a family. I think it's about timing. I think it's really important for me that, like, when I start a family, and that's it. I don't, and I'm sure it's for everyone, right? But from my perspective, it's like, from maybe dating different types of people over the years, it's understanding what is that perfect type of partner. And I guess it's just the way my mind works. It's the same in business, right? And I take sort of a mindset of like learning about myself, so that I can learn about the types of personalities that I hit it off with the most, and the type of maybe life partner that would be best suited for me, and I'd be best suited for them. Because I would love to obviously start a family and build an empire with someone. Like, that's the objective. Like, when I was younger, I believed in the dynamic of like, oh, I have a stay-at-home wife who will look after the kids. I can't have that, bro. Like, I need to have intellectual conversations.
Right.
And I love the idea of being able to build an empire with someone and build a legacy. And yeah, again, life doesn't always work out the way that you want it to. But I know in myself, one thing that I've learned is that, yeah, I would love more than anything else to be on a journey with my partner rather than be on my journey and them just be supporting me. Like, of course, we'll support each other. But if we can be like, have similar passions and be building something that we both really give a shit about, and that's kind of creating a foundation for our family as well, like, I'd love to do that.
Dude, I love that vision you have for a partnership. And I hope that comes for you soon, man. I really do.
Let's see, man.
We work towards it. Now, last thing, man. Imagine like there's someone in the audience who's going through that time where they feel that imposter syndrome like you did before. Maybe another failure just happened, trying to get back up. What would be your message to them?
I would say that when they tell you in the books that failure is going to be the making of you, it is actually true. So believe it. And that at the same time, you are whoever you think you are, psychologically. Whoever you think you are that person. So don't ever let anyone else kind of paint you in a picture or tell you who you are, because the only person that can determine that is you in your mind, right? So going through that period, for me, it was really important to understand that and feel it physically, not just read it, that failure is going to be my greatest learning lesson, and it is going to be the one thing that helps me become a lot more successful, right? Fail quick, fail fast, and move forward. And therefore, if you and the second part is if you know who you are, it doesn't matter what anyone else will think or you thinking what others will think. It's all about you understanding who you are and knowing who you are. And that, for me, really helped kind of get through that period of feeling maybe like I didn't belong somewhere, because I'm the one who decides if I belong. And yeah, I guess that's probably the point.
Jake, thank you for the very insightful conversation. I appreciate having you today, man.
No, my pleasure, man. I appreciate you having me on, bro.
Thank you, bro.